Because, listen, and my friend, he wants nothing more than to be free from the drinking.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't come home and go in the corner and rejoice in his drinking.
Right.
He's tormented even more by the drinking. So he's tormented by the pain, and then the drinking torments him some more. Right? It torments him some more. And it's difficult because the world implements a scapegoating mechanism whereby we say, if we can get justice for the harm other people have caused us, that's where freedom is found.
Yes.
If we can hold them accountable, if we can impute their sin to them, if we can blame them, then that's what will set us free. But Jesus comes and manifests a completely different thing. Here's a human being who's the only human being who had actually never done anything wrong. He was actually innocent, and he actually had the worst transgression that could ever happen to a person happen to him. And in that place, he didn't scapegoat the people.
Right.
He didn't think, let me blame them. Nor did he think, let me blame myself. And so in the presence of not scapegoating them or himself, he was able to talk with God about what was in his heart. And his heart was protected from the lie. And so what God would come and do is that God would bring us to a place where we don't scapegoat ourselves or another person. Where we just sit with what's in our heart about this thing. And he starts ministering to what's in our heart. Because that's what's actually bringing us pain. What we believe about what's happened.
Yes.
And so he comes to clear the record of us and the person. Listen, you going to blame yourself or you going to blame the other person? And you might have some of both going on.
Exactly.
Right? God comes and removes the blame from you and from them and says, let's talk about what you feel in your heart. Because if you're blaming yourself, you're busy with that. If you're blaming them, you're busy with that. Listen, you might find some relief in blaming somebody else for the pain you feel, but long term, it will wreck your life.
Yes.
Long term, it will bring destruction in your life. That actually won't equal freedom. You'll have relief for a little while, but as it keeps going on, it's going to equal bitterness. It's going to equal hurt, more pain. It's going to shape your life. And so God would come and say, listen, we're not going to scapegoat them or you. Let's talk. Right? And then he brings understanding, and he gives you eyes to see what's going on there. And then you're able to see it in a way where you don't impute sin to people. Right? See, Jesus didn't impute their sin to them. And when we talk about impute, he didn't judge their heart as having malicious intent based on what they're doing. He judged their heart as being filled with the fear of death.
Yeah.
And this is what the result of the fear of death is. Right?
Man, it's so good.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Now you're not scapegoating them for your pain. You're not seeking justice against them. You're not scapegoating yourself. You're not blaming yourself for what happened to you. But now you see there's something that's entered the world called death that is actually the thing that is bringing everyone pain. So now you want justice against death. Now you start to see God has served me with justice because he has conquered death in the cross and the resurrection.
Yes.
So justice has been served already. Right?
Yeah.
So now I'm not trying to get justice or freedom by seeing justice taken out on a person, but I'm getting freedom in my heart by seeing God has taken vengeance on the death that was causing all people suffering. And that serves my heart with justice. Right? It says the blood of Abel. It says the blood of Jesus cries out better things than the blood of Abel.
Right.
What did the blood of Abel cry out for? Justice. The blood of Abel cried out for justice. Now, he didn't cry out for vengeance against Cain.
No.
Because the mind of God doesn't cry out for vengeance against people. His blood cried out for vengeance against death. And so, how does the blood of Jesus speak better things than the blood of Abel? Because the blood of Jesus is God taking vengeance on death.
Yes.
So the blood of Jesus is giving Abel the justice his heart longed for from the death that came against him.
Right.
His heart wasn't busy thinking, his blood wasn't saying, well, I can have peace if we can kill Cain. Didn't God come and protect Cain?
Yes.
And say, we will not have Cain murdered. How's that? And why is that? You see? And so Abel's blood was not crying out for vengeance against Cain. The injustice that came against Abel was death. And so Jesus' blood served Abel with justice, because now he went into Hades and took back the keys from the one who had the power of death, Satan.
Right.
And now Jesus' blood cries, justice is served.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now our hearts start finding healing from whatever fruit of death we experience in this earth by fellowshipping with what God's done to conquer death. By fellowshipping with what God's done to give us the kind of life that can't be added to or taken from by this world or by what people do to us in this world. The world will come and say, well, if this happened to you, you missed out or you lost out on life. You can't say that about the life of God.
No.
Right? And so he set you free from the kind of life that can be added to or taken from by the world.
Right.
And he gave you a different kind of life that is not able to be built up or decayed by the life that's in the world.
Right.
That serves your heart with justice in the day you encounter the fruit of death in this earth that's coming out of people. You're set free from thinking they've stolen something from you. You're set free from thinking that you're missing out on something because of what they've done. You're set free from that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That really heals your heart from the pain.
Right.
Now listen, that is completely contrary to the wisdom in the world. And even like most psychology. Because most psychology will lead you to the place where you got to hold someone accountable for what they've done to you,
Yeah.
and then you find relief that way.
It's my father's fault. Yeah.
It's somebody's fault. Let's find them. We'll blame them. You'll feel better. Now, you can experience temporary relief. But as you go on, it will hurt your heart to see the person that way. It will confuse you.
Ooh, yes.
It will mess you up as you go on. You'll slip back into thinking all kinds of different things. Well, what is it that they saw about me? Right? You'll slip back into at some point, what's wrong with me that they did this? Why didn't they want me? Why didn't they value me? Then that leads you off trying to find your value in acceptance or approval from other people.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys following that
Well,
that train of
I
thought?
was just going to say, the last 10 minutes has been, I mean, we could stop now. You go back and listen to the last 10 minutes 2 or 3 more times. Just the idea of not blaming yourself or not blaming someone other, but just sitting with the Father and the thought that's in your heart and let Him minister to you and talk to you about that. The impact on life that comes from that kind of a thought process and that kind of, just relationship is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's how you'll be healed
Yes.
from the injustices that have come against you in this world.
Right.
And make no mistake about it, death is injustice. And if death is injustice, then the fruit of death is also injustice.
Right.
And so we've all experienced things that aren't just. Now, religion has come and told us, oh, you deserve it.
Yeah,
Right? Honestly, that doesn't compete with the heart. The reason why you know is that never makes you feel any better.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Someone posted on Facebook tonight that, for us to grow, God makes us feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the comment underneath was, yes. And my comment was, no, absolutely not. That God never makes you feel uncomfortable. He's always on your side, always working good for you, and that it's carnal thinking to believe that God causes you to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Somebody got to blame someone, right?
God is called the Comforter.
Yes.
Now listen, what I will say is God's arm is not shortened to where He can only serve us with life if we feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So in the presence of feeling uncomfortable, in the presence of the world coming against us and making us feel uncomfortable, God is right there causing us to overcome that.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
But listen, God don't need to come and make anybody feel uncomfortable. There's something called death in the world.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
it makes everybody plenty uncomfortable.
Yep.
And when I say death, I don't just mean like, when you put a guy in the grave.
No.
I mean, there's tribulation in the world. There's lies in the world that have come against all of our lives. There's happenings in the world that suffices to make all of us feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
God don't need to help it out.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we're going to encounter things that make us feel uncomfortable without God.
Bingo.
We don't need God to do it. You see what I'm saying? We don't need
All in favor? Yeah. Raise your hand.
That's what we